Okay, I figured out my key to success. Now I'm locked in. I learned how to open doors like a locksmith.
Ooh. Hey, that fruit punch one hits.
I got fruit punch too.
Yeah.
But it's Kill Cliff. They should fight.
Yeah, Prime and Kill Cliff should fight.
Kill Cliff has a fight gym now.
Do they?
Yeah.
We'll get Kenny. Doesn't Kenny Florian do the battle bots? We'll get him in here.
We should do like
commentate. We
could do like CGI.
Yeah.
With little arms and stuff on it. Have you ever seen the CGI arms on the eagle? Where it's like it pulls out a M16. It's like a bald eagle walking across. It's got these big giant arms. It's like walking, pulls out an AR, it starts throws it, it's carrying an American flag.
No, I've not seen that.
It's hilarious. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Pull that up, Jamie.
Yeah. Hey, Jamie. Welcome back. You are now locked in with DK and Atwood. I'm Atwood. DK to my left over here.
Yes,
sporting the Kill Cliff.
Boom.
I would like to say it's a beautiful day, but it's kind of shitty outside today.
It's crappy. All week was so it's like all 5 days were amazing.
Yeah.
All 5 days. I mean, like, I'm like, man, I want to go to the beach, opening up the doors of the academy, playing reggae and everything.
Mm-hmm. And then today comes along and it's like the redheaded stepchild. You know? It's
just crying.
No offense to any gingers.
I was a stepchild.
Me too. Not redheaded though.
Yeah.
So today didn't really bring any show prep to the table. I know we had discussed some things that we want to talk about that have happened locally with some of the guys that train here, some of the fighters you coach.
And we're going to talk about like, you know, the other stuff too, like that goes along with that. As
right.
Like, and that's like all encompassing to every fighter around is the mental
things
side of things.
That I think we could agree that a lot of fighters are kind of scared to talk about for pride reasons, whatever it may be.
Ego. Yeah.
I kind of understand it.
Not wanting to. Yeah, man. I mean, listen, like Mike Tyson said it a lot. You know, he would look at his opponent over and over and over and wouldn't take his eyes off his opponent. As soon as his opponent looked away, he's like, bang, I got him. There's a cheek in his armor right there. Looked away from me. He didn't stare. He says, we're both scared. I'm scared to death. He says, but I don't let you know that I'm scared to death. Right? Like I'm coming, I want to crush your skull in. I want to, you know, eat your heart, you know?
Yeah, he said a couple.
Like,
a couple of gruesome things.
But
and Cowboy Cerrone's also talked about it too, man. How like even I don't know how many total fights he had to have been a lot, but even late in his career, he'd feel like throwing up before every fight.
I feel like me personally, I've thrown up one time before a fight, but I've always been scared to death. Right? Like you're scared of not performing, you're scared of getting knocked out, you're scared of losing, you're scared of what people will think of you. You're scared on whether or not you did the right things leading up to the fight. Did you do, you know, X, Y, Z? You might have not slept good that night. You might have had a bad weight cut, and that's in your head. You're thinking about that. That was me, man. When I fought Felipe Nova in Bellator, my second fight, I'd had a terrible weight cut. And I was literally looking across from him when I should be thinking about ripping his head off. And, you know, or you know, what I'm going to do, I'm thinking about how I'm feeling. And I'm like, oh, man, like I'm not ready.
Right.
I'm literally saying that. I'm not ready.
Damn.
Yeah.
That is not something you want to have go through your head before you fight.
Not right there, bro. No.
And not only like things like that, but the build up to the fight too. I know for me, if I'm anxious and I'm waiting on something, no matter what it is, I mean, because you can be anxious in a good way or a bad way. But if I'm anxious for something, it makes the anticipation obviously just way worse, right? And that could be for anything, like I said. But I imagine if I'm anxious leading up to a fight, and I'm like, all right, 2 weeks out now, maybe you're thinking of, well, this dude's got a good record. This dude's fought these people and won, and he's fought for this promotion or whatever.
You're exactly right, man. Because I mean, I've been there. You know, I fought guys that were in the UFC. I fought them when, you know, guys that were in Bellator, obviously in Bellator, and all these different things. And you always see that as like, you always look up their record and you try to do this MMA math, right? Like, oh, no, he lost to so-and-so, and I beat so-and-so who also beat so-and-so who, you know, like, and you try to make this Rubik's Cube on why it makes sense that you're going to win, right? But it's tough, man, because, you know, it's just based on what I think it boils down to, and this is years, you know, I've been retired since 2018, January of 2018. So it's like, I mean, you know, this is, I've learned over the time, and I've seen other people, you know, and different things. And you just have the best way you're going to build confidence in yourself when it comes to fight day is showing up day after day, doing the work that you know needs to be done, and not telling yourself, I can take today off. I don't feel well. No, that's not you to decide as a fighter. Your coach should be like, yeah, man, this is and now this is my own personal experience, right? Like my coach, and I learned this from my coach, Kurt Pellegrino. I would come in and he would see it in my eyes. He would see that I'm training too much. He's like, hey, I'm like, I'm a little tired or whatever. You know, he's like, take tonight off. He's like, go get and at the time I was doing a gluten-free diet for my weight cut, you know, and everything leading up to it. And it's good for inflammation and different things. And so I just, I went and got he's like, go get a gluten-free pizza, which are terrible, by the way. It's like,
is that like cauliflower crust or something?
Man, it's like almond flour, and you know, it just, and so you're thinking I'm on Jersey Shore, you know, like I'm gonna go down. He's like, you know, I went down this road to a pizza shop that's right on Main Street in Belmar, New Jersey. I forget the name of the place. I get a gluten-free pizza, you know, and pick it up, and I'm like trying to smash this thing on the way home because he sent me home. He's like, just go home. I'm like, have it in the car, you know. Yeah. At the time, I had a little Honda Civic, stick shift, change, and trying to eat this pizza is just falling apart in my hands. Just like, I mean, no crust whatsoever. But anyways, man, that's just a whole nother thing. But it's, you know, guys, they get caught in this thing, and I know it's tough, man. You know, as far as like dealing with the mental side of things.
Yeah, and I mean, it's got to be real shitty as well when you put in all this work and your opponent pulls out.
Yep, or the promotion, you know.
Or well,
the fight doesn't happen, or
right. And I want you to go into a little more detail about that so people that are listening or watching know what we're talking about.
Yeah, so you know, and
you don't have to say the name of the promotion, but
we'll just say, like, you know, fight was supposed to happen this Friday. Obviously, it would have been last night, and we would have been talking about the fight today.
Yep.
So didn't happen. The fight was canceled and moved a month away, which this actually worked out, and I won't say why, but you know, it worked out. You know, and it helped our fighter to be a little bit more confident. Right. You know, it's like, oh, I got a whole nother month.
The day of the week that they moved it to, though.
I'm just going to say, man. So Austin's opponent kept having his opponent fell through, so they found him another guy out of Kill Cliff in Florida, out of the Kill Cliff Fight Club. I don't know. Anyways, it's called KCFC, Kill Cliff Fight Club, something like that. Anyways, so got him opponent and everything, but he's like week out, you know, like guy took this fight on short notice. You know, it's still a short notice for Austin as well, you know. So that's like, he's like, I'm preparing. I was preparing for a different type of fight, this and that and the other, and you know, it's like, I like a short notice fight. I used to, anyways, you know, like, because it gives me less time to I have to think about that opponent. Right. It's like we're just going to fight, and we're going to see who's going to be the better opponent. Less time we have to train or do any of that stuff for each other, and we just see who the better fighter is, you know. And back in when I first started fighting, you didn't know anything about.
Yeah, I mean, you had mentioned that there was a couple opponents that were made for you at weigh-ins.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you didn't know who, and I prefer it that way. I like it that way. But the days of social media and all that stuff now, like you're gonna Google your opponent.
Oh yeah. Yeah. We Google everything, dude.
Yeah, you're gonna Google your opponent, and oh man, and then you're gonna see his Instagram, and it's nothing but good stuff.
Right.
Why is he gonna put him
getting KO'd? Yeah.
Or him getting beat up, or him
Right.
like highlights? Like it's going to be good stuff,
Right.
right? Like all these, which if that's the first thing you go to, as fighters don't do that. Like you're already setting yourself up. Like when you go to YouTube, don't look at his highlight video. You're just looking at all his stuff, and it's going to make you feel like that's what you're going to see. If that's the first thing you're seeing, first impressions are everything. Yes.
Yep.
Right. So you're going to be, oh, this dude's good. Like you're seeing all his highlights. Of course he's good. He's good in all the highlight films.
Yeah.
You know, like for me, I got 28 fights, dude. I could come up with a killer highlight video. You know what I'm saying? Like with 28 fights. But I also lost a lot of those fights too. You know, so it's like, but I can still come up with something. But what it does, it creates this. You already like looking at all his good stuff that he does stuff. How good he is, you know, and you're like, all right, start talking to yourself in a negative manner, and the negative talk starts building on, and festering,
Right.
you know, and it's just not good, man. So
that was a great point.
You just can't do that, man. Like, don't be like, go watch a fight, watch the fight. So you have just watch a fight.
Yeah.
You know,
in
or
its
you
entirety.
can look at his record. Oh, his last fight was this. You have to find the closest fight that is, and I'm talking, I shouldn't be saying all this, but it's like,
no, I mean, I think this
like,
is going to be
fighter,
good for, right.
Yeah, as a fighter, like, I'm talking for you, you know? And the reason I say I shouldn't be saying this is because I have fighters now, and I don't want other people to know that.
Yeah.
No, but I'm just gonna like, I wanted to, you know, I don't want, you know, guys to like, yeah, you're gonna be like upset and like nervous if you're watching a guy doing nothing but good things. So watch a fight, unbiased opinion, really, and just watch the other guy. How would you fight the guy that you're fighting if you were the other guy? All right, see what the other guy does good, and all these different things, you know, and you break down fights better that way.
Yeah.
And that's what I do as a coach.
You know what would be cool? If there was a promotion out there that instead of picking opponents months out, if you like, what weight are you fighting? 155? You make 155, and then you get an opponent that made weight.
Yeah, or you do you have a bunch of names in a hat, right? And then you were able to draw from that.
That would be very interesting.
Very interesting. But you got to have similar records, similar, you know, something has to be.
There would be a lot of pieces to the puzzle.
Yeah.
But dude, that would be
can't just go off of just weight,
interesting.
because I mean, you can have brown belts, you know.
Exactly, yeah.
Like really good
if they I see what you're saying, and I agree. But if I'm playing devil's advocate, right? Like, say dude's a brown belt, other dude's a blue belt in jiu-jitsu.
I'm talking about if there's 0-0 opponents, right? Amateur.
Okay,
My
yeah,
bad.
yeah.
So then you would like Ethan in there, right? He's never had an MMA fight. He's a brown belt in jiu-jitsu, does some striking and does some wrestling. If he ever had his first ever MMA fight, he would smoke somebody, smoke some new white belt kid who thinks he wants to be an MMA fighter.
Yep.
Either go out there and tap him in the first minute. You know, I mean, and so, but as far as like professional is concerned, you can't have a 4-0 guy going against an 0-4 guy.
True.
Yeah.
Maybe that's something you do, man. You've been talking about starting a fight promotion. That would be very interesting.
It would be interesting. But you know what, man? There's so many prima donnas these days with MMA that it probably wouldn't work. You know
you would have to be hard dude to want to.
Well, you got to look at the bare knuckle. We was talking about bare knuckle. What are they doing? It's usually OGs.
Oh yeah.
So
people who have had their heyday in MMA and maybe can't make the same amount of money doing that.
Yeah, but usually it's older guys that have been around the MMA scene for a long time.
And a lot of them former champs.
Former champs. If you're looking at that are making big money, you know, and stuff. And even, you know, locally, not going to say all of them. Some of them people are just trying to cash in on the money and stuff like that.
Get a quick little payday.
Most guys that are really good at it, they're gangsters.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, you have to be to do that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I would love to do it, man. I don't want to break my hand. I would probably do it if I was younger, if I was like in my 20s, man.
Mm-hmm.
I've always wanted to do bare knuckle. I've always wanted to have like, and this is another thing too, is like I've always kind of wanted to have you do bare knuckle MMA.
Do they do that? Are there?
Yes, I think
promotions?
they do. I want to say.
I'm surprised.
I want to
that's
say
not a thing
Game
yet.
Bread.
Really, he does bare knuckle MMA.
I want to say he does bare
Oh,
knuckle
wow.
MMA. I know he does bare knuckle boxing
I'm
and
surprised.
boxing. So
I'm surprised that didn't become a thing before bare knuckle boxing. Honestly,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, in MMA, the only thing that's different is the 4 ounces.
Yeah.
You know, between your knuckles and somebody's face.
But anyways, man, back to the promotion.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So
anyways, man, you're a fighter preparing, you know, week out.
mhm.
Promotion gets moved to a month out, which works out. But you know, it sucks if you have sponsors. You have people that have bought tickets and everything. Some people are like, I can't make that next one. I'm gonna pull my money back, or vice versa. If you have good sponsor, they're cool with it, whatever, and you just move them on to the next fight.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? But that's also another month away.
Yeah.
If you're a fighter and you're fighting,
I would
that's
imagine
a whole nother month that you can't get more sponsors for your next fight or something like that, right? Like it's a whole nother month you have to wait away. And for me coming up, that was tough.
Had he started his like weight cut yet?
Yeah. Head start. Yeah. But he's on his water load, so he's drinking 2 gallons a day, you know, on his water load. So he's just, man, when I called him and told him that, he was just like, he's like, yes, I can stop drinking water. You know, like
So
and pissing multiple times
right
a day.
How does that change? Like, so his diet then, right? Because obviously it gets really strict a week away from the fight. Now that it's been pushed a month back, you obviously don't want to gain a lot of weight back.
Man. So he was just starting to taper down a little bit. So he's just going to go back to maintenance phase, right? Where you're just maintaining, you know, so you don't get injured or different things like that. So then that's the problem. What usually happens, people, when they cut so much weight, they start losing calories and they start getting their food deprivations down, and then they start getting tired and they start doing things that are sloppy, and then they get injured. They were like, they blame it on the person that they went with for injuring them because they're the pro fighter, or vice versa, when it all stemmed back from you not taking care of your body and recovering just as much. If you're a professional athlete, man, you got to take care of yourself.
Right.
You know, I'd use but we'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, with Austin, you know, you start tapering down and everything. So now he goes back and maintaining the weight, you know, and everything. Because you don't want to lose muscle too fast, you know, because then, you know, that's just, or you don't want to lose weight too fast because then you start eating into the muscle.
Right.
You know, and you've worked this whole 6 weeks to, you know, build that muscle and maintain that structure. And then you're going to flip around.
Right.
And this is a learning experience that I've done, you know. I've done that. I've been the guy that's trained too much and not ate enough, and vice versa. So, but now, and we'll just do the thing all over again. But we got a fighter fighting in Atlanta this week, or next weekend.
Yep. You going up there for that?
Yeah, we're driving down. So it's in Atlanta, so that's like a 6-hour drive for us.
Right.
And Megan doesn't like missing a fight.
Okay. Well, that's dope.
Yep. And so we're taking off. We're going to leave on Saturday, spend the night, and then come back on Sunday.
Right on.
For Jay-Z's fight Saturday night. Because he's got an opportunity. And here again, you know, his opponent changed a week out. Like, just found out 2 days ago his opponent changed.
And that upset me too because, I mean, I'm not going to front like I know a lot about his other opponent, but, you know, I did see the trash talk online. I heard you mentioning that dude had fought in PFL.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're not making it into these organizations if you're a scrub. you know. And at this point in Jay-Z's career, he's not fighting scrubs either. And it's a big Grand Prix for big money.
Yeah, so it's $100,000 Grand Prix, and this is in Atlanta. So Atlanta has done this before back in the day when I was coming up. It's called Sport Fight.
Okay.
And they had a Grand Prix for the end person won $100,000 at the end, I think it was, and that was at the time that was Douglas Lima.
Ooh,
yeah,
nice.
Yeah,
went on to
Bellator and do big things, and I think he's in
champ,
PFL now.
right?
No, is he in PFL or still Bellator?
I'm not sure, but he was a champ in Bellator.
Yeah. So, fun fact: I was supposed to fight Douglas Lima, and this man, he was like 14, and he had a really good record. I shouldn't have been fighting him, right? Like I think I was 4-1 at the time.
Really?
Yeah, and I got this offer to fight him in Atlanta, and I accepted it. And then he got the offer for the Grand Prix at Sport Fight, and so who knows it? He probably doesn't even remember this, but I remember it because man, I was like, I mean, dude, back then, looked like, I mean,
dude, if you put his head on a stick, you make a statement.
Yeah,
that is a trophy.
Yeah. So it's like, anyways, I was wanting that fight, and then he won that Sport Fight tournament, and then went on to Bellator.
Yeah. Going back to Jay-Z's fight, falling through, $100,000 for a fighter on a local. I mean, that's more than a lot of UFC guys.
And so that's over
making.
A couple fights, but still, again.
Yeah, how many fights are in that bracket?
I want to say it's 3 fights, but him in the main event, he was supposed to be main event. He was fighting a hometown guy as well, and that guy ended up getting suspended. Like, I don't even know how.
Right.
Don't know the whole details about it all, but finds out this past week, around Wednesday or Thursday, something like that his opponent is suspended. He now has fights off, and now he's fighting a new guy, and they're co-main event now.
Oh, they were the main event before.
They were main event before because the other dude was a hometown Atlanta guy, and so now he's fighting another Atlanta guy, and now the other Atlanta guy fighting is now in the main event,
right?
And Jay-Z's fighting a guy from Missouri. So you got, and this is another thing is like when you bring in 2 out of town fighters, they don't have. It's hard to pay them. Right? Because, I mean, Jay-Z's making pretty good money for this fight. The other guy's probably making pretty good money, too. And he's coming from Missouri, so I don't doubt he's driving. If he is, cool. Probably flying. They have to pay for that. He's not bringing any ticket sales unless he knows people in Atlanta. But he's not bringing thousands of dollars worth of ticket sales.
Right.
Same with Jay-Z. Jay-Z's not bringing thousands of dollars worth of ticket sales. So, I can see why they didn't do main event for that. Yeah,
I mean, that one makes sense. I mean, anytime, like, you have a hometown guy that has a buzz in a hometown, like, needs to be the main event. And then when you have 2 on the co-main and then the main falls through, I mean, you kind of have to.
Yeah, you got to move some things around. But,
reasons.
Man, Jay-Z's such an exciting fighter. It's going to be a really, from the moment of his walkout comes, he wants to be a showman. He wants to be out there when they announce his name, when they, that's like he was born to be
he's an entertainer.
An entertainer. Yeah, for sure. Like if Jay-Z wasn't a fighter, he could definitely be a WWE superstar for sure. And so that might be something that he goes into. Who knows?
That would be sick too.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at, I don't watch a whole lot of WWE, but I know Matt Riddle. Who got kicked out of the UFC for smoking too much pot. Yeah. He's a WWE superstar now.
No way. Didn't know that.
Yeah.
Probably making way more money than he would have in the UFC too.
I mean, dude, I think he was a champion or is a champion there, so he's getting paid. I made Jay-Z's walkout music.
And Austin's, right?
And Austin's, yeah.
Dude, that Austin one.
Did you like it?
I liked it.
I thought it was pretty dope too.
Yeah, he was like, hey, do you want to be surprised by my walkout song, or you want to hear it? I was like, I want to hear it.
And so whenever I was making both of them, I'll start, with Jay-Z because we were just talking about him. I try to draw inspiration from it too by watching fights. And then I look for things in fights, like whether if the announcer says his name really well, like draw that, you know?
Yeah.
So I was watching some of Jay-Z's fights, and I was watching the one where he fought at the House of Blues. Blake Rice was his ref.
Yeah.
And after the fight, I guess he was saying to him and the other fighter were still talking, and it looked like you got a little mad, dude. Do you remember that?
I don't.
Because, like, I know, obviously I'm a ref, so I know the commission, and I saw John from the commission walk up to you and, like, grab you on the shoulder and tell you, point
Man,
to, like, out the cage.
There's probably, like, hey, when you guys meet, they're like, hey, we got to watch out for the commissioners are probably, we got to watch out for a DK over here.
It looked like Jeremiah and the guy were kind of talking. I mean, you couldn't tell what they were saying, but it probably wasn't very, very good. And then you kind of like walked up, and it looked like you got between him and told Jeremiah, like, talk to this dude. And then the dude walked away, or you guys walked away, and the dude threw his hands up and said something. Then you turned around and, like, started walking over there. And I was like, dang, I wonder what's going through DK's head right now.
Man, I get emotional. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
it's fighting is one of the most passionate, emotional things that you can do.
And
I would say it's more passionate than sex.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just for me.
I was like, what? That kind of threw me off. I was like,
well, I mean, if you think about it, like when you're having
about passionate.
Say what?
I don't know about passionate.
But
fighters are passionate, yes.
Right.
And you got to be passionate about the craft. So
right.
I understand you in
that
aspect.
Whenever you're getting intimate, you're not worried about getting your face broken.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, it's true.
And so I think, like, in a sense, fighting is one of the more, if not most passionate thing you can do, because I think there's way more emotions running through your body when you're in a fight than when you're having sex.
I think there is more emotion involved.
Right.
You know, there's so many hormones going on in your body. The testosterone, the adrenaline is flowing through your veins, and so it is. You know, it is in sex as well. But man, yeah, getting punched in the face, and now you're like, oh, I gotta punch this one.
Right.
You know, I gotta get this dude back. You know, or
and
whatnot.
you just got real passionate about breaking somebody's nose. You know.
Real passionate.
Oh man.
We're not making out or anything, but definitely making out with fists into the face. It's like, oh yeah, you want to kiss? Boom. Anyways, man. But yeah, dude. So opponent change for him.
I can't. We're not making out.
We're not making out.
Go ahead.
But yeah, Jay-Z, man, like it's he's a showman, and his opponent changed to another dude. Same game plan, similar styles. The guy's, you know, more of a ground person. It's called a ground shark.
Ground shark?
Ground shark.
Like Street Sharks from back in the day.
Yes, I remember Street Sharks. Yeah.
Great.
Man.
Cartoon.
But ground shark, he actually looks like he wears like a Sharknado.
Wait,
shorts.
is that so? When you say ground shark, is that like his nickname?
That's his nickname, bro.
Oh, I thought you were just like that was like. Oh,
that's his nickname.
Ground shark.
Yeah. So he's had some darce wins. He's had some guillotine chokes and different things like that. But, you know, same game plan. The guy Jay-Z was fighting originally was a black belt. So I don't know what belt this dude is, but, you know, just same game plan.
Yeah. I mean, dude, like Jay-Z's he's a great fighter. You know, obviously I'm not a fighter, but I like to think that I can watch somebody perform because I've watched it enough over the years and
Well, he's another thing. A thing that's going to be different this fight than all his other fights is this is his first camp that he's never drank beer in.
Really?
You know that?
Huh?
Yeah.
And also, this, you know, he's 3 fights away from 100K, and he just had a kid.
So he's got a lot of motivation.
This is his first one as a dad.
First one as a dad.
Yeah.
Well, first MMA fight, yes, as a dad, I think it is. Or no, yes. Yeah, first one as a dad because he hasn't fought in a year, over a year. So yeah. Anyways, but you know, he's got a lot of firsts, man. You know, he's been doing a lot of jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, I got to roll with him.
He's been doing a lot of different things over this camp, so that are going to benefit him a whole lot. You know, which is going to give him confidence that we were talking about. If you're doing all the things that you're supposed to be doing, you're going to have confidence. You're going to feel confident going into the fight. If you're doing, let's say, halfway through camp, you go to a party, you get drunk, and you had already told yourself, like, I'm not going to be drinking any of this camp. Or you got a fight coming up. Why would you be doing that? Like, that's putting poison into your body, right? Like, if you're an Indy car, right, like top of the line or a drag car, right, they get the best fuel that is made. Over 100 octane, or you know what I'm saying? Like it's just, I mean, you can smell it. It smells like alcohol almost. It's pure. If you're a fighter and you're trying to perform at the highest level and you're doing the hardest thing that you can do, fighting is the hardest thing that a human being can do. It's so hard. It's harder than lifting weights.
Harder than sex.
It's harder than sex, yes. So it's like, why, you can't do that. The two can't match. You got to have some type of fuel. You got to feed the body good fuel if you want good results.
Right. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So if you're got the Daytona 500 and old Bobby in the back there fills up the Ford Motorola Castrol GT 257 number 5 car with, you get what I was had to make all the sponsor plugs.
Yeah, I got you. Valvoline and DuPont.
Valvoline and Fuel Bond, and then we got this. Man, it just ran good. We went around all 4 rows, all 4 turns, just smooth. Anyways, tangents right there.
Yeah,
like we talked about. I go a ramble, but if you put in fuel in fuel in your body, you'll get the good results, man. You know, and so it's just, I don't know, man. So I think he's gonna win.
Yeah, and sure. Man, I'd really like to go. I was planning on going. Me and him were going to shoot like an embedded series for him.
That's cool.
But me being in the radio business, they gave me an opportunity to make a bunch of money next weekend on Saturday. So I was like, well, I got to do that.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm gonna do.
So I'll come up on Saturday. We'll do that, and then we're coming right back because I'm leaving the dogs here.
Oh yeah. Man, you're gonna drive up there and back in the same day?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, spend a night and then come back. Grayson and Nick's wife are riding with us too, so there's gonna be 4 of us, and then little Bodie's coming too.
Right on, man.
Yeah.
Take a little family vacation.
Yeah, man.
Right on. Well, how much time we got left, Richard? All right. Well, we'll just go ahead. And end it. End it there, man. You want to tell them what they can do?
Yeah, man. Go ahead, hit that like, subscribe button. Go ahead, share us as well, and tell more people about us.
And also, if you're listening on Spotify or Apple or iHeartRadio app, give us a follow. If you're on YouTube, drop in the comments. Let us know some reasonable people that you would like us to have on.
We ain't paying for nobody to come on our show.
I doubt Conor McGregor is going to give us the time of day, but
for no monies. I give you a free drink.
Yeah, right.
Give you a free drink, and we can roll jiu-jitsu later, maybe. I don't know.
That's it. But yeah, we appreciate you tuning in. Till next time.
Till next time, man. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.